Okay, go.
Здравствуйте, товарищ! Hello everyone, it's the Russian Bear. I'm going to be making this video because a lot of you asked for it in the previous homemade tank demonstration video. So I'm going to show you how we built the tank and how we work it. So to start off, I'll show you guys how we built the tank. In the beginning, we bought a club car electric golf cart for $500. It was in really bad shape. So far, we had to replace the batteries, the tires, we had to fix the pedals and the speed control, and we also had to fix a lot of cracks in the frame. But the first thing we did was to take off the white covers in the back seat. Welding parts, fixing cracks in the frame, and reinforcing the body of the cart took about a month to complete. After an agonizingly long research and development period, we finally started on building the actual frame of the tank. The simple truss design is what we came up with. It's held together by nails and wood glue, but two large wooden beams with bolts in the front and back of the cart are what holds the frame to the cart. On the right-hand side of the tank, we would put a door, but first we needed a completed body frame. To do the underside, all we did was make the same shape and attach it to the bottom of the frame. A couple cross beams in the lower body was done. We're about 2 months in now. The next step was another long period of research and development, and this time we had to design a rig that would allow the turret to rotate with someone sticking their head in the top. It took a while, but we came up with a practical design. First, we routed a circular track into what would be the tank body's roof. Our idea was to have ball bearings on a track between the turret and the body of the tank, so that when the turret would rotate, the ball bearings would just roll in the track, and then the turret would stay in a perfect circular motion. We found these ball bearings that you could attach to one side and then have it roll on the other. So what we did was we made the base of the turret, and then we used a circle to mount all these ball bearings in a perfect circle so that they would roll inside the track and not get knocked off. So eventually we ended up with a plate that would eventually be the turret's base that could spin on the top of the tank. The next step from there was to cut a hole through the top of the tank and the turret base so that somebody could easily stick their head up and look through the windows to drive. That was going to be the main riding position where, to ride the tank you would have to put your head through the thing. Well, I also came up with this, which is it's a roller coaster type thing that hugs the bottom of the track so that the turret would not come off its track. And eventually we did the frame of the turret, and it started to look something like this. I was really surprised at this point because it was starting to look like a tank, and we haven't seen it. We didn't even know. I mean, most of the stuff we were really kind of pulling out of our butt. But it worked out really well. And it could turn, and the cart could still move with all the wood. We were just worried about the paneling issue. So eventually we found this lightweight wood that would we could use it as paneling, and then it could still deflect airsoft bullets, but it's light enough to cut down on the weight so that the cart doesn't slow down. So we paneled the turret first. That was really quick and easy. And it was also time to think about the turret, or not the turret, the gun. We wanted it to actually fire, so we consulted a book called Backyard Ballistics, and we found a simple hairspray-fueled potato cannon that would fit perfectly. We made 2 working models, and then we put the final model into the tank, and we made it so that it could swivel up and down, and it could still rest inside the tank with 2 passengers sitting comfortably inside without having to duck their heads. So it was a short-barreled version, but after that it was time to paint the tank, so we went to the hardware store, got some olive drab paint, and after a few hours we had a green tank. Yep. Inside the gun, by this time our gun was actually firing blue balls all around the neighborhood. To fire the cannon, all you have to do is put the ammo inside the barrel, ram it down, give a good 5 seconds of hairspray, and then see that lantern igniter on the inside. You twist it, and then it sparks, and then the hairspray that's inside the barrel ignites and fires the cannon. It was time to think about electronics, too. We started with headlights and then moved on to auxiliary floodlights, interior running lights, and even a stereo system inside, which are all run off of a separate 12-volt battery. We even hooked everything up to a control panel so that it would be easy to manage. That's the auxiliary battery. In this control panel, the top left switch labeled Master Power turns on the auxiliary battery. The switch below it turns on the golf cart. The blue lighted switch is the audio amp switch, which turns on the stereo. Below that is where you can plug in your phone or iPod. Next to the audio switch is the exterior light switch, hooked up to the small headlights and tail lights. The headlights can be switched to on or flash. The switch below it is the floodlights, and then the very top right is the interior light switch, which turns on the red cabin light for night ops. We actually got all those parts at the Radio Shack, which is pretty easy. These are some small details that we put on that just make the tank look more realistic, like a couple of paint jobs like that, and some more fake track. And after that, that was the finished product. The interior looks like that, and it still does right now. It fits nicely in my 2-car garage. And yeah, the floodlights work really well. The battery actually has a surprisingly long life, even after running all these things off of it. And then, like I said, that runs off of a separate battery so that it doesn't drain the cart, so it doesn't drain your ability to move. It just drains a separate battery. The thing can pivot with this little cover that we put on it to make it look more realistic. And the cannon does fire. It still does fire. And we have a strobe switch up there, which you can't see, but in this video you can kind of see the strobe blinking in the background. That runs off of 2 D-cell batteries. Anyway, guys, I hope you learned a little bit about the tank in this little video. If you have any more questions about the tank, I can probably answer them. Just leave them in the comments, and I'll do my best to reply to some of them. Most of them, if not all of them. Yeah, guys, I hope you I hope you're interested in this tank. We're going to see if we can get it on Pawn Stars, the show, and we're also going to drive it through McDonald's drive-through, and we're going to videotape it. That'll be up soon. That video will be. So, yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and stay frosty.